All right, guys, today I just want to say, bear with me. I have a cold or the flu, but we still are going to do this lecture today, so just hang in here with me. So today I want to talk about the fact that there is a symbol that has appeared across centuries, across religions, across cultures, and it is a symbol that is so universal that it seems to speak a language deeper than words, and that is the rose. And it has been used to represent love, beauty, devotion. But in language, or in the language of mystics, the rose has always meant something more because it represents the soul itself, not the personality, not the identity, but the deeper essence of who you are, slowly unfolding. So today we're going to explore why the rose has been used across traditions to symbolize the soul and what it reveals about your own spiritual awakening. So, sorry, if you've been on any kind of inner journey, you may have noticed something that growth doesn't happen all at once. It doesn't arrive as a sudden, permanent state of peace or clarity. Instead, it seems to come in layers. Moments where you feel open and connected, followed by moments where you feel challenged or triggered or uncertain. Because at times you may even feel like you're going backwards. But what if you're not? What if your soul is unfolding exactly the way that it's meant to? Not instantly, but petal by petal. You see, this is the deeper wisdom behind the symbol of the rose. So the most important part, or the most important thing to understand about a rose, is how it grows. You see, a rose begins as a closed bud. From the outside, you cannot yet see its full beauty, but everything is meant to become, or everything that it is meant to become is already contained within it. And then slowly, it begins to open, one petal at a time. And this is how mystics understood the soul, because the soul is not something that you become, it is something that reveals itself over time. So each life experience, each realization, each moment of truth is like another petal opening. And just like the rose, this process cannot be rushed. It unfolds in its own timing. What's fascinating is that this same symbol appears in many different spiritual traditions, and not by coincidence, but because it reflects a universal truth. In mystical Christianity, the rose became a symbol of divine love and the awakened heart. In mysticism, the rose represents the soul's longing for union with the divine. In ancient Greek traditions, the rose was associated with sacred beauty and the deeper essence of life. And in alchemy, the rose symbolizes the completion of inner transformation, the flowering of the soul. So different cultures, different languages, but the same understanding that within each human being is something sacred, just waiting to unfold. But you see, there is another part of the rose that is just as important, and that's the thorns. Mystics never understood why people ignored this detail, because the rose does not grow without them. And this too is symbolic. So the path of the soul is not only beauty and peace, it also includes challenges, loss, growth through discomfort. The very experiences that sometimes feel like they are breaking you are often the ones that are opening you. So the thorns are not separate from the rose. They protect it, they shape it, they are part of its existence. And in the same way, your challenges are not separate from your awakening. They are often the very reason that it's happening. There is one more layer to the symbolism of the rose, and that's its fragrance. Because you cannot see it, you cannot hold it, but you can experience it. And mystics, they use this as a metaphor for the soul's presence, because when the soul begins to awaken, there is something that begins to radiate from a person, not something forced, not something performed, but something that's natural. And it's a presence, a depth, a quiet sense of being, just like the fragrance of a rose. So it cannot be faked. It can only be expressed when the flower has truly opened. So, how do you apply this understanding to your own journey? Well, first, you have to begin to trust the process, even whenever it feels slow, even when it feels unclear, because you are not behind, you are just unfolding. And second, you begin to see your challenges differently. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin asking, what part of me is being opened through this? And finally, you allow yourself to grow naturally without forcing your healing, without comparing your journey to others, because just like a rose, your soul has its own timing and it will open exactly as it is meant to. So the rose has been used across traditions, not just because it's beautiful, but because it reveals something true. You are not a fixed identity, and you are not a finished version of yourself. You are something that is unfolding, something that is going to reveal itself moment by moment, experience by experience. So the soul is not something you have to chase, guys. It is something that you allow to open. And if this message resonated with you, I want you to take a moment to reflect. What part of your life feels like it's opening right now? And what part of your journey, no matter how challenging, may actually be shaping that growth? And share your reflections in the comments. And if you feel called to explore deeper spiritual symbolism and the journey of awakening, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Because in this series, we're continuing to uncover the hidden meanings behind symbols like the rose and what they reveal about your path. So until next time, guys, remember this. You are not becoming something new. You are unfolding into what you have always been. And I will see you guys in the next video.